So the first story I have to talk about is this fundamentalist Christian woman who is going viral for all the wrong reasons on Reddit and elsewhere, Instagram. Basically, this woman's name is Alex Cooper, and she is one of those trad wives who basically her entire online persona is posting about her children and soon to be children, and her life revolves around the children. And whatever, if you like that sort of thing, so be it. She has 7 kids, which honestly, for a fundamentalist, is low. But she has 7 kids. She also says she has 6 in heaven, which I don't know. I don't know if that's a lot for someone to be keep trying to have kids when you've had that many miscarriages or other things along the way. I don't know. No judgment there. But that's who she is. She says she's a Christian mom of many. She's actually not even a fundamentalist or an evangelical. She is under the Orthodox Christian Church umbrella. Slightly different. Don't ask me to explain the difference. But anyway, you get the idea. You've seen these people online before. Well, she is, surprise, pregnant. She's going to have another baby soon, she says. She's already named the child. It's Chloe Marie. And the baby should be on its way in a few months, except she says there is a problem. She told her fans online that doctors have told her this is not a viable pregnancy, which is a tragedy. And I'm sorry to her that that happened. But specifically, it is a Cesarean Scar Ectopic Pregnancy. And for those of you who are watching this, you might be familiar with the term ectopic pregnancy when the fertilized egg doesn't implant in the uterus, but it implants in the fallopian tube. And that is not where the egg can implant safely. And at that point, that baby's not viable. That you have to abort the child at that point. You have to save the life of the mother. That's what's important at that part. If you're at a Catholic hospital, they may perform an entire hysterectomy just because they don't want to abort the fetus. But this is not that. That's not what happened to her. She has a cesarean scar ectopic pregnancy. And this is the way one medical website explained it. Let me share this with you here. In a cesarean scar ectopic pregnancy, okay, an embryo attaches to the scar tissue left from a previous C-section instead of attaching to the wall of the uterus, where a healthy pregnancy can grow. The scar tissue is not as strong as the uterine wall. It can tear. It may result in hemorrhage. The placenta will grow in the wrong place, causing bleeding, potentially leading to a hysterectomy, damage to the surrounding organs, or death of the pregnant patient. So it's serious. I mean, I don't know how else to put that. I'm brown. I'm not a doctor, but like, that sounds bad. It sounds, and this is based on, I mean, every website I could find in a short span there, but like pretty much every doctor who has written about this says this is a non-viable pregnancy. The best thing to do is to terminate the pregnancy, not just because it's not going to be the baby you want it to be, but also because this could go bad really quickly. And that means to save the life of the mother, you need to terminate the pregnancy as soon as possible. So that's the situation Alex is in. It's very bad. Now, everyone seems to know that what she needs to do, there's only one option. But Alex is a conservative. She thinks abortion is evil. And this is how she's pitching it on her website. I'm going to show you. This is what she's been posting on Instagram. You could see the caption under her picture. I'm not killing my baby. Okay, I didn't think you were a murderer. I wasn't suggesting you would be. But there's a couple aspects of her caption here that I think are worth pointing out. And this is a screenshot. I can go to the real thing in a second. But okay, check out what she says here. Okay, the day we found out that Chloe implanted in my C-section scar, and thus was a C-section scar ectopic pregnancy, was very hard. Yes, agreed. I forgot what MFM means in this situation, but like, okay, I went to somebody after my first midwife ultrasound told me I needed to terminate. He told me I would die. And he already called the OB my midwife works under, and they would meet me at the hospital ASAP. And right now I'm like, yeah, good. It sounds like the doctors know what they're doing and they want to help you. I was over an hour from home. My husband was not with me. I told the doctor that I would not be making any decisions today, especially without my husband. He did tell me the risks, which I was familiar with because one of those risks I had with Claire. I don't know what the deal is with her past pregnancy. It seems like she has had miscarriages in the past, so she would be familiar with the risks. But okay, this is not a we need your whole family here with you so you can go through surgery with the emotional support you need. Someone's pointing out, by the way, in the comments, MFM, maternal fetal medicine, for high risk pregnancies, or experts in that. Um, they need to operate on this woman ASAP. They need to get her safe so that nothing bad happens inside of her. So she goes on here. I left the appointment and cried the entire drive home. Matt was on a call with work, blah, blah, blah. I called my priest's wife. Yeah, she looked up what I was diagnosed with and started praying for us. Okay, I'm going to take you to the actual Instagram thread here, because I want to scroll down for a second and read some more of this, because now it just keeps getting weirder. Okay, here's the next bit of it. At first, it didn't really hit as hard until I talked to my midwife, and she said, Alex, I saw the ultrasound pictures. It doesn't look good. I'm on team midwife here. I'm glad everyone surrounding this woman seems to understand the gravity of the situation. When I finally saw the pictures, it was very crushing. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was obvious that baby had implanted into my scar. And then now it gets weird. I started researching that day, and over the weekend found 2 Facebook groups, every article I could get my hands on, stories from survivors on YouTube, and more. Okay, let us pause for a moment. She found 2 Facebook groups, which that's not where you're going for reliable information. You are surrounded by medical people. You have doctors at your availability. You have a midwife. You have this OB. You have your person who's an expert in maternal fetal medicine. You could talk to any of them about what is happening right now and listen to their expert advice on what you should do. Nope. She's like, I'm going to talk to the gals on Facebook. So that's not a good start. And then she says she's also listening to stories from survivors on YouTube. Think about that one for a second. Let's just sit with that for a moment, because this is where I'm just getting mad at this person I've never met before. Survivorship bias is what it's called, but there's a reason the only videos about this situation or any similar situation where someone says you have a high risk pregnancy, the only reason you would hear from survivors is because you literally cannot hear from the non survivors. Like, I'm sure there are tons of people who want to tell you, I got COVID and I'm doing just fine. And you shouldn't listen to them because there's a whole bunch of people who caught COVID and did not fare well. Like, I don't know why I'm laughing. There's nothing funny about it, but I'm shocked that she doesn't get why the women talking about how they survived a high risk pregnancy and their babies are doing just fine. There's a reason you're only hearing from them. Why don't you get it? It's not just infuriating. I don't know this person, but it strikes me as super selfish because the doctor is telling them the sad truth that this baby will not survive. There's a good chance you will not survive. And she's responding by getting mad at the doctors and the midwife and stuff like that. But she's a Christian influencer, and that makes me even more mad because let's suppose hypothetically she survived this whole thing. I hope she does. I don't want to, I'm not wishing ill on this person, but let's say she survives. Let's say, I don't know what the odds of this happening are. Let's say the baby makes it somehow. Don't think that's scientifically possible, but whatever. Let's say that happens. What do you think she's going to do on her platform? She's going to tell everyone, well, they told me I had a high risk pregnancy and I'm doing just fine. Let me make a video about why you too should just keep chugging through if someone tells you you have a high risk pregnancy. Like, she's going to make other people, other women get in trouble Um, I also think it's really cruel to continue a high risk pregnancy that could leave your other 7 children without a parent due entirely to your own ignorance and stubbornness. Right? I don't know. It's infuriating. Let me show you. I'm going to come back to that um, post she made, but this is another thing she also shared on Instagram. Someone asked her an anonymous question. Have you heard from other moms who survived and baby did too? As a NP, I don't know what that means. I'm curious. And she says, yes, so many, more survivors than not, to be honest. Hold on. Again, more survivors than not. I do have questions if you're hearing from any of the non survivors. That sounds interesting. But also, do you not get why you're hearing from more survivors than not? NP is nurse practitioner. Thank you, person. But again, I'll definitely share stories that I have personal permission for you to share. But I'm in a group with many that have made it to the survivor side. Love moms and babies. Again, oh my God, do none of these people understand what is happening here? How do they not know? How come no one in their life loves them enough to tell them the obvious? Like, that's not a miracle that you are hearing from the survivors. Okay. So she refuses to consider how many other pregnant people in her situation or similar ones did not make it. Instead, she's just smiling for the camera, not giving a damn about the kids she already has. Like, there is nothing brave about continuing this pregnancy that is this risky. She is not a role model for other women. She is selfish. She is making a very stupid decision. This has nothing to do with her love for the fetus that is not born. This has nothing to do with that. That is not going to be a baby you're holding in your arms. I'm sorry. People have been through that. It is tragic. But if you want a chance to have another baby, then you got to abort this one. That is how this works. And I want to show you a survey. This is from the Pew Research Center in 2022. And they did a survey about after the Dobbs decision about people's opinions on abortion, when should it be legal and all that stuff. And they said 37% of US adults say abortion should be illegal in all or most cases. This is the anti-abortion 37%. They're very much against it. And check out what they found when they just looked at the 37% who are very anti-abortion. They said, hey, you guys, should abortion be legal or not if pregnancy threatens the woman's health, life or health? And you could see right there, even among the most hardcore anti-abortion Americans, nearly half of them, 46%, said, no, if it threatens the life or health of the mother, abortion should be legal. And another 27% here said, it depends on the situation. So even among the hardcore anti-abortion crowd, they're like, well, in a situation like the one this Alex woman is in, yeah, it's totally fine to get an abortion. So who is she trying to impress? I don't know. It's so infuriating. All of this is coming from a woman who says she has a history of high risk pregnancies. She supports candidates who would remove choice as an option from anyone who's pregnant with no exceptions. And honestly, she's lucky in a way because right now she gets to make the choice. Her whole journey is about what choice will I make, right? She doesn't have to do the thing she's telling everyone she's totally going to do. There's another concern too, like I said, which is if she makes it somehow, she's going to be like a martyr for the cause. And more women will start taking unsafe advice. They will make bad decisions. They will ignore the advice of medical professionals because they want to be just like her. And look, I hope everything works out for her because I'm not trying to be evil here. But instead of using her platform responsibly and explaining to her followers that, look, I'm against abortion, but there are situations when even abortion opponents like me might want to consider some nuance. Instead, she's pitching herself like, look at how awesome I am, because even though they tell me it's high risk, I'm going to go through with it. As if it's her versus the medical establishment. By the way, here's the kicker. You know how this woman had babies in the past? It wasn't like she had some high risk pregnancies, some miscarriages, and a handful of kids who were naturally born. No, she used IVF in the past. No problem with that in the past. She now thinks it's immoral, but it was fine for her when it worked to her benefit. Oh my God. I want to go back to that Instagram thread and just say, if there was anything else I forgot to share with you here. We came back to my midwife the following week when I was 6 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Matt and I were met with some hostility by the obstetrician. He told me, one, that my baby would probably die anyway because her heartbeat was 114 and she was measuring 2 to 3 days behind, which is perfectly normal, by the way. So the OB told her, your baby's probably going to die. It's not in a good place. Maybe not just because of the heartbeat, because of where it's located in you right now. And then she says, and number two, when I told him I wouldn't be killing my baby today, he turned to Matt only and told him he has to make me terminate then. This was not a good experience. And honestly, I have zero respect for how he treated us that day. Listen, if a doctor is telling this woman, you're going to die, I don't want you to die, this is the only option available to you. And she's like, I'm not going to listen to you because my Facebook friends told me you're crazy. And then he's like, oh my God, what do I do? Okay, hey, husband, do you want your wife to live? Then tell her to make this decision. I get why she might think that came across as patronizing, condescending, sexist, whatever. But also, I think this doctor seems to be trying to save her life. She's not listening. So, okay, let me talk to the person next to you. Hey, save her life. And she's not listening to any of it. Ah, what the hell? What is wrong with this person? So, I guess I don't know what else there is to say. I guess congratulations to her current eldest daughter, because that girl's going to soon be taking care of all the child rearing and household responsibilities in the family, all because her mommy wants to play Russian roulette with her own body. And there's no reason to think the father's going to help raise any of these kids, because look at the religious environment they are in right now. Super patriarchal. The woman's job is just to keep giving birth. Like, nothing about her story screams, let's choose life. No, it sends the message that the only thing she cares about is giving birth, not raising the family she already has. And, what's the point of having kids if you don't want to take care of the ones you have? A lot of people pointed out in various comment threads online that this whole idea, and we saw it during the pandemic, this is just indicative of this mindset that says, I'm going to do my own research. I know better than everyone else does because the Facebook ladies told me so. I Googled, how do I make my argument? And I found someone confirming what I believe. And so I'm going to go with that. And this is like when people said, I'm not going to get vaccinated, or I'm not going to vaccinate my kids. And these doctors are like, you need to do it to save yourself and your kids and everyone around you. And a bunch of unscientific or scientifically ignorant idiots are like, I know better than you. Why would you know anything? You've only spent your entire life studying this stuff. So I guess in Alex's case, she would rather die to own the libs than take solid advice that might contradict her pre-existing beliefs. Now, one final thing. I heard this in response, some conspiracy theories, and it is purely a conspiracy theory. Some people were saying it is possible that her baby's not actually high risk, or with, in the middle of this ectopic pregnancy. They're saying she's milking just how high risk it is, because if this baby is born and it's healthy and safe and all that, then she can come back and really amp up just how awesome of a conservative Christian mom she is. I have literally no reason to believe that's true. I haven't seen any evidence, nor would I think, that suggests she's lying about the medical condition she's in. That would be a weird long con if she's lying about this. But just goes to show, like, a lot of these influencers online, the conservative Christian ones, they're trying to build their audiences and they're making dumb decisions in the process. Again, I hope she's doing okay. I hope she makes it out of this. But right now, she's making every wrong decision. All right. What questions do we have here? Oh, thank you, Alan, for that donation. I consider your podcast as weekly. Fuck yeah, time. I'm glad. Thank you. Don't even know how to respond. She's from EO. What is EO? I don't know. Come back to that one. I don't know what that means. It seems like she isn't really becoming aware of doing the right thing, which could save her life and the life of others. At this point, it seems like she's had enough people telling her what the right thing to do is. So I don't know. I don't know if she's just blocking out all the good advice, whether it's coming from doctors or friends or family, maybe, or if she just genuinely doesn't think what everyone's telling her is the right thing to do. That the only right option is, well, God gave you a child, so you got to go through with it, even if it explodes inside of you. I don't know. Has she never talked to a Christian mother who had a miscarriage? I don't know. Someone said Eastern Orthodox is what EO means. She is not, I don't know the specifics. She's Orthodox Christian Church. I think it is maybe synonymous with the Eastern Orthodox Church, but I don't know the specifics of it. Going back to that earlier question. All right, what else we got here? Continuing a high risk, certainly fatal pregnancy won't make you a mother, it'll make you a statistic. Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. And clearly, this person is not interested in learning how math works. So I don't think she knows what it means that she's about to become a statistic. Now she waited past the 6-week point they all accept. Yeah, she said it's been 6 weeks, 3 days. It's been longer than that now. But the longer she waits, I would think, as someone, she says she's anti-abortion, the longer she waits, the worse this is going to get. So take care of this now. I don't know what state she's in. I don't know what the laws are, but it seems, based on what her doctors are saying, that abortion is an option. Certainly in this case, even the reddest of states, I think most of them allow for an abortion in this exact situation. All right. This is why by we, I mean Canada, where I live, have to start improving our education system so that people are not trapped in religious fundamentalist bullshit. I mean, I want to agree with you. Also, I mean, there are people who have great education systems, places where the education system is really solid, and there's no shortage of religious people. You'll find religious people in blue states, blue cities, things like that. And again, I don't I feel like I have nothing to say about her religious beliefs. I don't care about her religious beliefs, and I'm not even mocking her. I'm not telling her she has to ditch her religious beliefs. I'm saying pretty much everyone can find a way to justify saving your life when the baby is not viable, when the fetus is not viable. So take that option and be there for your kids. Oh, thank you for that donation, Mustafa. I interviewed a Christian Science practitioner for a podcast I'm trying to start, and when I asked for data, all they have is testimonies. Yeah, a whole religion centered around thoughts and prayer. It's scary, and there are some crazy, scary stories out of Washington State and Oregon. I think parts of Idaho about Christian Science practitioners whose kids were dying. And instead of taking them to a doctor, they just prayed about it and assumed God would fix it. And then those kids became a statistic and they haven't learned their lesson. And I think every time we talk about those stories, it's frustrating because I think for a long time, those states did not consider those deaths to be homicides. There was like a religious exemption to homicide. And I can't remember. Maybe one of those states has changed its law since, but it's infuriating that we let people get away with this.